First of all, just start with the mood around the club after Wednesday's big win. How have things been?
Yeah, good. I think it's kind of lifts the spirits a little bit in terms of, especially going through the campaign. It's good to finish it on a win. I think, ultimately with a couple of games, the man sent off, we kind of didn't have a chance in them, and the couple of home games were involved in, we felt we could have taken more from them. So it was really good for the boys to feel that, in terms of going into and even the level of performance, because they're a good side. They're a very good side, and it was a really competitive game. And I think, we kind of eased our way into it, but I think after about 20-25 minutes, we really, came to life and probably took belief, in terms of played the way we want to play, and we created a lot of opportunities and chances, and went on and won the game. So I'll give the players a lot of belief. A lot of the new guys who's coming in, younger players, the guys who've been, round the block with it, to kind of finally get that win and put that to bed and take great confidence going forward from that.
Are you hopeful that not only can you take it forward into Europe next season, hopefully in the Champions League again, but now that it's going to be domestic football over the next month?
Yeah, that's the most important thing now. The game the other night was really important, regardless of what the outcome was going to bring. We knew we couldn't qualify, but for us it was about kind of showing ourselves in our best light at that level, which we did. So really positive. And again, we've got to just kind of build on that and go into the next game and now concentrate on domestic stuff. Kind of put a good run in there, and again, the thing for us is just to concentrate on performances, not get drawn into you must win every game, and the pressure and everything else. That's by the by. That's in the background. We just need to concentrate on our performances, make sure everybody's on the same page and doing their jobs. And we know when we do that, we've been good for performances, which bring results anyway. So that's the primary focus for us now.
How are we on the injury front? Are Cameron Carter-Vickers and Dyson Mader available?
Yeah, they'll both come into the squad tomorrow. They're good. Abada's still working through rehabs, probably a couple of weeks away. And Rio's slightly behind him. But other than that, we're pretty good.
Just wanted to ask you as well about the centre-back situation at the club. Obviously, with Cameron coming back to full fitness now, I think it might be as many 6 or 7 first-team centre-backs. How do you view that? Do you see that there will be a primary pairing that will emerge? Obviously, Liam Scales has played really well so far this season. Cameron's been here for 2 or 3 years. He's been brilliant. What do you see?
Again, it's going to be a position where we have a lot of players. In January there's probably going to have to be a couple that maybe go and get game time elsewhere. And trim the squad down a little bit. If anything, we're probably carrying a lot of numbers. So there'll be a lot of kind of on the periphery who we just need to go and get game time or maybe move on, whatever it might be. Everyone will have their own kind of agenda on that, but when it comes to it at Celtic, there's going to be 4 or 5 centre backs, in every squad, and at that point it's a case of competing for each other, push each other and being ready to step in whenever you're called upon. It's a bit like Welsh the other night. He's not featured for a long time. He was unfortunate early in the season where he picked up an ankle injury, but he's came in out of nowhere and performed the way he did, which he did really well. As soon as he settled in the game, he did really well. So that's what you got to be ready for. It can come around at any moment. There can be suspension, injury. Cam's the one who's probably been most consistent over the years. Again, he's an important player for us. I think everybody sees that. But certainly that all changes. On a kind of week by week basis. You got to be ready to play, and when you come in, you got to do the best you can and give a team your all.
Can having several options at centre back, international players that are coming in from different countries, can that help? Can that promote competition, especially for someone like Welsh who's been here for so many years? He's got that new deal. Can that help?
Again, the tough thing can be sometimes when they're left out. It's often a position where you kind of go a bit lighter. You tend to go even in your bench, go a bit top heavy in terms of going with attacking options. So you do find that there's guys who are maybe international players who are left out of the squad at times, but that's up to us to control that. What we do have is a really good group of players, in terms of out there every day. We've no issues with them at all. They work really hard. The guys who come in and train when the actual squad on match day are getting ready for the game, never have an issue with. So that's where we're at. So that's positive. Obviously we need to control the numbers a little bit better. In terms of when January comes round, get squad down at a more manageable level. But in terms of what the players are giving us on the training pitch, we can't ask any more in terms of their attitude and contribution to that. And hopefully that best prepares them for when they do have to go on and play at any moment.
Was there a sense of relief among the staff and the players after that win on Wednesday, which means that if you do qualify for the Champions League next season, you start with a clean slate?
Yeah, I don't think it's a clean slate. I think there's a lot of talk, and people build up the whole you've not won in so long and everything else. I think it just shuts that down. For us, it was always about performance. If anything, we were more disappointed when we didn't pick up something earlier, especially in the home game via Lazio, where you go up one end of the pitch, the goal's ruled off by minimal amount, and all of a sudden you've conceded one at late, and that's the level you're at. So it's important that we kind of shift that slightly in the other direction, because we've kind of sat in that kind of line where we're just falling just short for a period of time now. So hopefully the belief that can bring another night, that we can go and compete with the teams in that level. There's obviously the very elite ones, which obviously you have to be your very, very best and hopefully have an off night, but we just got to go out and play the way we want to play, because we know when we do that and we really commit to it and we play well, it gives all teams problems. So I think you've seen that other night, the game at the start was kind of itchy peachy, kind of 20-25 minutes, and there was a real shift in our mindset in terms of, right, we need to take the game to them here, and we just gradually pushed them back, and they still had their moments as well because they're a good side, but it was almost the fear gets stripped back. You weren't thinking too much about the result and the pressure or what might come. It's just attack every moment. Every attack we have, every moment in the game, just do the best you can and do what we know we're comfortable doing, and hopefully at the end of the day that brings more positive results. So that's ultimately what we want to do. Take belief from it, but ultimately it's about making sure domestically we're looking after ourselves, and then that'll come around hopefully.
And it's another milestone for Liam Scales, player of the match in a winning Champions League match. How much can his rise be an inspiration to other players in the squad who've seen him go from a player who didn't know where he'd be in the summer to winning player of the match in a European match? Yeah,
it's great, and again, testament to him, in terms of how he's worked. He's taken the opportunity, and that's what you've got to be ready to do here, because again, as we touched on before, there's a lot of competition. Sometimes you have to be really patient. For Liam, it came up early in the season when he got an opportunity to come in and get a run of games, and from then he's held his own, and that's why he stayed in the team. The centre backs have all been pretty much fit, but because of the performances he's been putting in, it's kept him in the team, and that's where it's at. So that's where we're at. We just have to keep working hard. Again, everyone knows that if you do drop your standards and you come off the boil, then there'll be someone waiting to take your position, and that's that's healthy for the group.
And another huge moment from Matt O'Reilly there, that assist at the end of the game. How close is he to reaching the levels that the manager said he could when he first came in summer?
Again, what that level is, I don't know, because he's certainly grown every game he plays, and in terms of where Matt came in and the level he came from, he's embraced everything we do here in terms of he's fully committed in everything he does. And again, going back to the group we have and the individuals we have in the group, everyone's here to be the best version of themselves. They come in, they want to work with the coaches, they want to work with the science team, they want to recover properly, they want to go through all their analysis, and that's all part of the development, and that's what Matt has fully embraced is that part of it. And it's as soon as he gets in his rhythm and then he's taking confidence from his performances at a top level, you can just see him growing and growing, and it's up to him how far he goes, because he's been terrific for us this season. In terms of the challenge for him this year was adding more end product to his game, because he's got everything, in terms of he covers the ground well, he's a good size, technically he's very good, and now you see the other part of his game where at the final third they can go and assist and score important goals. So he's been a really important player for us, but that's down to how he works, and everyone's got to take the same kind of stance and the same mindset of be the best version of yourself, and that gives you the best chance to go and perform the way Matt has at the moment.
And last one from me, how important is it psychologically to add another 3 points to the board tomorrow when your closest rivals in second place aren't playing in the league?
Yeah, again, it comes back to performance first. We need to concentrate on performance first. When the 3 points come, that's the outcome of that more often than not. So again, that's the one we don't want to get too caught up in, what's the gap now, and we need the points and everything else. We just concentrate on what makes us a good side, because when we come away from that and we start thinking too much, that's when things slow down. That's when you start second guessing yourself. So for us, it's just full committal to the way we play. We know if we do that properly, more often than not, it'll bring results, which brings the points, which then gives you your lead that you've obviously sitting with at the moment.
Is that a big challenge for you as a coach? Because obviously you lose a game last weekend, there's a big fallout from it. It's all talk about it. To get the players focused on the performance rather than the consequences. How does that process work for you?
Again, it's the same process as when you win a game, really. And there's maybe the added pressure. If someone's listening to what's going on, in terms of the press and the media or fans and everything else. But ultimately, when we get them, in this building, we can control the message, which is very much about this is what we did well. This is what we certainly didn't do well. And second half last week, we've kind of addressed that in terms of. And that's an example of Kilmarnock putting a bit more pressure on us, coming totally away from the way we play. And we end up playing just a game that the ball spent more time in the air than it did in the ground, and for us that's not the way we play. So the second half team didn't look like us, but again, just framing that for the players is if you kind of let that pressure get to you and you come away from your key principles, then the game can turn in any direction. We lost control of the game because we came away from the way we played, and Kilmarnock had a bit of pressure, but we know, we can still handle that. We showed them examples of Atletico Madrid, pressing us at Celtic Park, playing through it no problem. There's examples of the other night, a very good side coming and pressing, you play through that and you create chances from it. So it's all in the mind in terms of that respect. But the players have been great in that. They kind of embrace that, take it on board. So hopefully going forward we can, be really strong in how we play and our convictions in that.
Can I ask you about Dyson? Obviously he's been out for 5 or 6 weeks. How important is he to the way you want to play? Just the speed, the energy he's got as well, the pressing as well.
Yeah, no, he is. He's we've been a bit interrupted with the team as well. The guys have come in. The guys that have been maybe in the fringes before, coming in and done a good job. But Cameron Carter-Vickers we mentioned already, really important player. Rails missed the last chunk of the season. Bad has missed most of the season. And they're all really important players for us. They contribute a lot, and they have done. And again, going back to Dyson, he's the trigger for a lot of that in terms of our intensity, because the game we want to play, we want to be as fast and keep the intensity of the game up as much as we can. And Dyson, as you all know, he kind of triggers a lot of that for us. In terms of he shuts down the time teams get to set up attacks. In terms of even if a team want to play direct, he can get to the ball without them being able to play accurate long balls. But on the flip side of that, in terms of how he attacks the back line and penetrates any sort of space the opposition leave. So having speed in our team is really important. It's an important aspect, and I think when when he's not there, you recognise that. You sometimes lack in certain areas of the game. So it's great to have him back. To be fair, he's an absolute machine. I think he was wanting to be involved before now, but we had to kind of put the reins on him a touch because he was obviously still with a bit of an injury going on there. But he's a great lad, again, terrific worker, and he's obviously a very important player for us.
Just a quick word on Hearts themselves. What do you expect tomorrow?
Again, Stephen's done well. Obviously, the last couple of results maybe not gone their way, but obviously the month before that they did a good run. Again, they're always difficult to play against. He's set up a couple of different ways at different points against us. We're better at back five or back four. But again, we just need to concentrate on ourselves. We know the threats they carry. They can certainly counter attack quickly. They've got obviously a goal threat with the front line they have, and they've got kind of a strong physical side. So again, we just got to respect that, but at the same time make sure we're going out with the mindset that it's about what we do in the day. Take the game to them and push them back and be as aggressive as we can.